everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight on Mysterian TV. We've got a great night planned for you. I will be going over the 3 keys of living an overcomer's lifestyle. So if you've been experiencing any overwhelm, any anxiety, any confusion, I'm going to share some things that are going to help you to bring some clarity, to bring some confidence into those areas, and so that you can live an overcoming life every single day. We're going to talk about that. It's going to get real tonight. We're going to dig in. We're going to dive in deep. And as soon as we come back, we're going to dive in. And thank you so much for joining us. Please share this broadcast and this page with your friends, with your family, and your social media platforms so that the others can know that we are live. And here we go.
Join us every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for live spontaneous prophetic worship with Reeni Mederos, exclusively on Mysterian.tv. As she unveils kingdom mysteries with revelatory teaching and prophetic analysis of current events, and personal prophetic ministry with live interactive chat and a word in due season. Create a free account at www.mysterian.tv and get SMS text notifications of upcoming live broadcast events. Are you ready?
Announcing the new mobile app for Mysterian TV. Join the weekly live worship broadcast with live interactive chat. It has a sleek design and is user-friendly. If you miss a live broadcast, you can watch the recorded archived videos at any time. Search the scriptures with our in-app online Bible search. Post your personal prayer requests on our prayer wall. Come to Israel with us for an Israel mentoring expedition. Listen to the episodes of our Mysterian podcast and join our online webinars, workshops, and classes. Enable push notifications on your mobile device so you don't miss a thing. Download the Mysterian TV app today. Available on the Apple and Google Play stores. My name is Reeni Mederos, and I invite you to join me for Unveiling Kingdom Mysteries on Mysterian TV. Follow the journey and download the Mysterian TV app today. All right, hold on, guys. Let me get something going here. We're going to start in just a second. everybody. Welcome back to Mysterian TV. Are you guys ready to get started? I've got some surprises for you tonight. So let me do some adjustments here really quick.
I'm thinking, okay, I need to get a balance. I just want to make sure,
Okay, so let me ask you a question. All right, so you want. All right, okay, so I was just reeling up a video here. And so tonight we are going to get into the 3 keys of living an overcoming lifestyle. Are you guys ready for this? And let me see how you guys are doing in the chat. And we just got off of social media and inviting everybody to come here on Mysterian TV. So be sure to share this page. You can share it to your social media and just let people know that we are live. And so I'm very excited to be with you tonight. My name is Reeni Mederos, and I am the founder of Mysterian Expressions. And of course, you found us here on Mysterian TV at www.mysterian.tv. So tonight's going to be very informative, very special. So I'm just going to really share with you from the heart and some things that I believe are important, that are 3 keys. They're simple keys, but they're very important keys for us to live an overcoming lifestyle, because sometimes people struggle with things in their lives. It could be addiction, could be things that are causing overwhelm and anxiety and things that are causing a lot of confusion in your life. And now in the times that we live, there's definitely those things that are causing all of that, especially here in the last year with the coronavirus. So this is going to be a great encouragement for you tonight. But before we get into the teaching, I have a very special surprise. Surprise. And so the surprise that I have, I like to dig into my library of videos. I have a lot of video footage of Israel and a lot of things that I do. And so, I don't know, I think it was this past week, I was digging through some videos and found this video. I don't think I've ever shown it publicly, but I think I have shown pieces of it in our partnership, in our premium Mysterian mentoring partnership. And any of you that are interested in that, you can go to www.mysterianmentoring.com, and that's our Mysterian mentoring and kingdom coaching program that we have that is on a monthly basis. And you have access to all of my videos. We do a monthly mastermind. It's really, really powerful. And so this particular class, I believe I've shown this video to you guys that are in the class. It may not be posted at the moment, but what we're getting ready to dive into, it's about 7 minutes long, but I think you're really, really going to love it. How many of you love Israel? You love Israel. And it's so important for us to stay connected to Israel and to pray for Israel. Of course, the last several years I went to Israel, took a team with me. Last time that we went in 2019, of course, we weren't able to go in 2020 because of the virus. But hopefully we'll get a chance to go back to Israel very soon. And so what I have for you is a little surprise here. I think you're going to love it. Now, let me just explain the backdrop a little bit. In this video, I have my team with me, brought my team with me to Israel. It was a mentoring expedition, Israel tour. And so how many of you would love to go to Israel with me on my next mentoring expedition tour? And I would love to be able to take you with me. So we had a group that I took with me, a team that we took with me, and a very special thing happened on this trip. Actually, very many special things happened on this trip. We experienced theophany after theophany. Now, you guys know that I have teaching on the mystery of theophanies. In fact, let's see, I think it's right here, the mystery of theophanies. This is our online webinar that we have on Mysterian, on the mystery of theophanies. So it's at mysterian.tv/theophany. It's one of our newer classes, and it is very, very powerful. And so we went to Israel. This is in the latter part of 2019. And when we went, we encountered so many theophanies. Theophanies are the manifest presence of God. And it was such a powerful thing. Now, when I go to Israel, guys, my husband, he says, Reeni, when you go to Israel, you just take it to another level. You know, nobody goes where you go. And it's true, because when I go, I have incredible encounters with the Lord when I'm there. And I remember talking to a friend of mine concerning this, and was telling them about my experiences with Israel, that every time I go there, it's so special and very powerful for me, because the Lord meets me face to face where I go in Israel. And I have powerful encounters with the Lord. And she was telling me, she says, wow, you know, that's really good, because a lot of people don't feel anything. I was like, how can you not experience the Lord in Israel when he walked all over that land? So one of the things that I do is I do a lot of preparation for these trips. I spend a lot of time in prayer, and I saturated in prayer. So what we did on this particular trip, and it was one of the theophanies that we encountered, and you'll see a little bit of it because we captured it on video, is that we were able to get a small boat on the Sea of Galilee. And normally you get one of these big boats that carry a lot of people. Usually there's other tours that are going on, but we got a private boat, guys, a private boat. And it was like a really small kind of fishing boat. It was a motorized fishing boat. And it kind of gave you that feeling of, you know, the time when Jesus was on the Galilee with the boat, with the disciples. And the thing is that Jesus did 2/3 of his ministry on the Sea of Galilee, or around the Sea of Galilee. So I have a video for you of that experience and of that encounter. And what happened during that encounter is that the guy that was driving the boat, he was an Israeli, he was a young guy, and he was just rocking with the Lord, and he just surprised us with this Israeli music. So we just got so excited. And at the same time, at the end, you'll see we're worshiping, and you'll see the way that the sun was dancing on the waters. It was as if Jesus was saying, come walk in the water with me. It was so inviting. It was so incredible. I just remember being so gone with the Lord on that boat ride and feeling so close to the heart of God. So I just wanted to give you I wanted to just share a little bit of that encounter with you, and because I know that it'll bless you. And then we'll get right into tonight's topic on the 3 keys to living an overcomer's lifestyle. It's going to be really powerful. It's going to set you free tonight. Anytime during the night that you see the telephone number there, to text GIVE, the word give, GIVE, to the number 706-751-6037 to give tonight. We do have a need. Our budget has been kind of low this month, and we are asking you to give this month and to give a little extra so that we can continue this. So I want to just say thank you in advance for that. Or you can go to our website at give.mysterian.tv, or if you're watching on the live broadcast page, the button's right there, right below, the green button. And when you do that, you should still be able to hear the video and the broadcast while you're giving. So we're going to dive right in. Are you guys ready? This is really exciting, and I'm so happy to share it with you. Here we go. Thank you, Lord. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. So amazing. Worshiping on the Sea of Galilee is just amazing. Absolutely amazing. I can see the Lord walking on the water right there, just inviting me to come in. Oh my God. I'm walking with you, Lord. I'm walking. Take my hand, Lord. I am unaware of these afflictions eclipsed by glory, and realize just how beautiful see you, Lord. I can see you. Your affections are for me. What a powerful, powerful, powerful trip that was. It was so amazing. And you saw the way that the light was kind of dancing on the water. And it was, you know, I remember being on the boat and just being taken aback because this was in the morning time. I don't know, probably 9 o'clock-ish in the morning. So it was like, you know, it was like the first of the day. And so we were able to get that little boat, and it was such a surprise because we didn't know that we were going to have such, you know, an intimate kind of situation there. But you saw the light dancing, and it was as if the Lord was just saying, come. It was such a powerful manifestation of God. Just felt so real. I don't know what else to say. It was just really incredible. It was just the way that it was so perfect. And so we had many encounters like that during our trip, and where personally I just felt like the Lord just showing up. So it was really great. We had a great time with the team, and hopefully we'll get a chance to go back sometime soon after all of this Corona stuff goes away. Go away, Corona, go away. All right, so I hope that you guys enjoyed that, just a little piece. I've got so much video footage of Israel that it's just incredible, and I just need to, you know, dig it up and show some of the footage that I have. I've got footage from the, so we went 3 years in a row, and there's so many different encounters that we had that I would love to show you. So in time, we will do that. Okay, so tonight, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the 3 keys to living a overcomers and the overcomers lifestyle. Okay, so one of the first things that I do want to share concerning that is, I think one of the very first, the very first important steps of living a very important key to living an overcomer's lifestyle. And in order to overcome, you have to realize and acknowledge where you are. You have to acknowledge where you are. And what I mean by that is sometimes we feel stuck. Sometimes we feel like we're in this repetition and in this pattern that we can't break out of. And when we feel like we're in that repetition and that pattern, we don't feel like overcomers, do we? We feel like we're just caught in this cycle. Could be addiction, could be anything, could be overwhelm, could be anxiety. And when you're experiencing those things, you don't necessarily feel like you're an overcomer. And so that's one of the first things that's really, really important, is to acknowledge where you are, because sometimes you can get into so much of a spin of, you know, this cycle. And it's kind of like, you ever see the gerbils or the little hamsters, and they're in that wheel and they're constantly going in that little wheel. You know, it's kind of like an exercise wheel, but, you know, it just feels like you're going round and round and round, and you're just not getting anywhere. And definitely your mind is racing and your heart is racing, your emotions are racing, but you feel like you're not getting anywhere. You're not progressing. You're not walking on the mountains of the Lord like you should be, and conquering and being in that place of ruling and reigning, what I call rocking and ruling, rock and rule. You know, I'm a musician, guys, okay? So I'm, you know, it's rock and rule for me. You know, some people say ruling and reigning, and that's nice. That's very churchy or whatever, but it's rocking and ruling. And so we want to rock and we want to rule, and so, you know, it's very prophetic when I go on the mountaintops with the Lord. I'm in Israel. It's just an incredible feeling of freedom and being at the very highest frequencies in the land of Israel. And when I went on my second trip to Israel with my daughter, we went to Mount Hermon, which is the highest point in Israel. We made decrees, and we went to the highest elevation in Israel, and it was very prophetic, very inspiring, and it was incredible. I've got video footage of that too. And we tried to go on our last trip, but for some reason they were closed, and we weren't able to go, so I wasn't able to take my team there. But that's what I love to do. I love to go to the mountaintops of the Lord in the land of Israel and make proclamations and decrees over Israel, over America. It's just one of the most exhilarating adventures I've ever experienced in my life, and the Lord being there with me, And so we, it's kind of like that's where we're supposed to be with the Lord. And many times we don't feel like we ever get to the mountaintop. We feel like we're always in the valley or in the mud. And one of the first things that we can do is acknowledge, okay, I'm not on the mountain right now. And so it's good to take a back seat and evaluate where you are. And one of the things that I like to do is I like to write things down on paper, what the things that I'm feeling. And then just kind of, brainstorm a little bit where I am. And I start having a conversation with God in prayer. Now, there's a couple of things that are pretty obvious as far as keys to an overcoming life: prayer, worship, taking communion, all of those. Okay, so let's just say that's a given. Because even though that's something that we know that is part of the foundation, these three keys that I'm giving you are really, really important. That's why I want to talk about it. So this is like on top of that foundation of prayer and worship and taking communion and all those things. So what happens when you are in that place, you don't feel like you're in that overcoming state? Obviously, there's some kind of cycle that's going on. Could be a generational curse, could be sin, could be some kind of addiction or whatever. So as I mentioned, the first thing is to acknowledge where you are and ask for help. Of course, ask the Lord for help, but sometimes you just may need to reach out for some help. And sometimes that can be kind of nerve-wracking because a lot of people I find have trust issues, and they have a hard time trusting somebody else with the treasures of their heart and the secrets of their heart and what is going on inside of their hearts. And so sometimes it can be difficult to find a friendship or a relationship or a prayer partner or any of those things. But I still encourage you to ask the Lord to bring somebody into your life that you can kind of share those things with and acknowledge where you are. And so one of the second thing that I want to talk about is one of the things that can prevent you from living an overcoming life, an overcomer's life, has to do with toxic relationships. And toxic relationships can be near and they can be far. You can have relationships that are in your life, that are close to you, family, friends, but then there can be those types of so-called relationships that are long distance. There could be people that you admire or people that you compare yourself to. That to me is a toxic relationship, even though you might not have a close relationship. But like if you are constantly comparing yourself to somebody that looks like they're on a pedestal of some sort, and you feel like that you're far behind and you feel less than because you're not just like that person. That is where toxic relationships, and even locally in your family and also friendships, because toxic relationships that are really can be sometimes maybe they started out as a good godly relationship and then it turned sour, and then you have what's called a soul tie that you feel like that you can't break away from. That will keep you in that cycle of toxicity. And so one of the things that we can do with that is break any ungodly soul ties and any toxic relationships in our lives and break away from that. And when you do break away from that, you all of a sudden come back to that place of overcoming. And the thing about overcoming is that it can feel like that it takes a lot of effort because you're striving for freedom. And I don't like to use the word strive because striving makes it sound like that you're working outside of the Spirit of God, but yet there is an effort that we have to make to come out of that. And the effort is decision, is making a decision to come out of that place with these toxic relationships. So any kind of negativity, those that are around you, that if they're of a different mindset than where you want to go or where you want to be, that it's going to be a constant bringing you down into a level that you can never get to that place where you know that you're supposed to be on the mountaintop with the Lord. And you could possibly make decisions that I want to go higher, I want to go further, I want to go deeper with the Lord, but then you have these toxic relationships that have like a hook in your heart that are pulling you back and you're not able to go. So you feel that resistance, and you might feel that cycle of, I'm just going through this cycle over and over again and I just can't break out of this. And the Lord wants you to break out of that. He wants you to be your own person and not compare yourself to other people, to be you and who you are and be satisfied with who you are, because God loves you just the way you are. And of course, he's going to continue to work inside of you and to help you to overcome some of the things that you're struggling, because a lot of it is in the area of the mind. And it's just the constant bombardment of that overwhelm. It could be an overwhelm of an addiction. Let's talk about addiction for a second, if we can. The thing about addiction is that really any kind of addiction, first of all, you have to make a choice. You have to acknowledge that there's a problem there, right? And then make a choice to want to come out of that. And then there has to be actions to come out of that. And sometimes you're not going to be successful in the first couple of tries. You might have some prayer, and some repentance. Repentance is always a first step for that. And then you feel like you're great. You feel like you're walking on top of clouds. You feel like you're on the mountain with the Lord. And then all of a sudden you feel like, you've dropped because you fell into that addiction again. And one of the things about addiction, and I like to use this example because many times when a person is in this place of addiction and they're trying to come out, and they might be free for a while, and then they fall back into the same pattern. It doesn't mean that you didn't have breakthrough, that you didn't have initial breakthrough. What happens with these types of things, sometimes the Lord will deliver you instantly, and other times you have to walk it out. And it could be that let's say you have this addiction with with drugs or something, and then you fall back into it. Let's say that you've been free from it for about a month, and then you fall back into it. And so the worst thing to do, because the enemy will tell you that, you never overcame anything. You're just going to be this way, drug addict for the rest of your life. And so there's this mind cycle that you go through. And one of the things that is important is to look at the span of time, that over a span of a year or a span of several months, you might have fallen during those times, but how many times were you able to continue, and the time frame in between those incidences, those time frames between those incidences of falling back, they get large, they get further and further apart. Whereas before you had drugs every day, and then maybe you spread it out to where eventually it's maybe once a month you might fall back, and then eventually every 3 months, and then you're free for 3 months, then eventually you're free for a year. And there are times that you even may fall back after a year of freedom. But the key is progress. I guess that's my whole point in bringing this up, is progress. And so because a lot of times what we can do is we can beat ourselves up if we don't see that we're perfect in keeping free and staying an overcomer. It's like exercising your muscles. I'm a former personal trainer. I love lifting free weights. Sometimes women don't like to lift weights because they feel like that they're going to get bulky and look like a man. You don't produce enough testosterone for that. You're a woman. And and maybe with exceptions, there are some women that do, but anyway, that's besides the point. And I kind of relate this to being a personal trainer because it's an exercise of your muscles. And it's kind of the same thing with overcoming. It's an exercise of your faith, of your spiritual muscles to be strengthened more and more. So you're exercising, then you rest. You exercise and then you rest. And the more that you do that, the stronger that you get. So you're exercising that overcoming ability that was given to you by the power of the Holy Spirit. Your spirit is willing, but of course these bodies and this soul is not, and this mind, which is, if it's not regenerated every day with the Lord and with prayer and with worship, that you're going to fall back into those things, which is why the foundation of all of this is prayer and worship, taking communion, because that's going to give you the strength to take the next step for the next day, to go a little bit higher and climb that mountain until you get to the top of the mountain and say, I'm absolutely free of this. And technically you already are. It just hasn't manifested yet. And so one of the reasons why, sometimes the Lord can deliver instantly, and sometimes it can be a walk. You have to walk these things out because the Lord is trying to teach you something. He's trying to teach you the overcoming power that he gives you, but your spirit being knows how to live in an overcoming place because you came from the Lord. And so, and then we were born into sin, all this, and I have teaching and all this, so I don't want to get into all that. But you are already an overcomer, and it's just your mindset, shifting your mindset into that place. I have already overcome, and walking out what you know that you already are. So it takes a little bit effort. It feels strenuous in the beginning, but it does get better. The more that you are determined, it does get better. So the third thing that I want to share is that if you fall, get back up. Never stay there. Never wallow in the mud of your defeat. Get back up and surround yourself with people that will encourage you. Get away from the toxic negativity. Get away from all of that. We already talked about that in the second point. And in the third one, as I mentioned, is if you fall, get back up. And one of the best ways to help you to get back up is to forgive yourself. A lot of people are harder on themselves than they are towards other people. So forgive yourself and then get back up, because the Lord will forgive you. And this is especially hard for drug addiction, sexual addiction, because you feel a lot of shame, and that's what comes with it. And shame will just condemn you and condemn you and condemn you and tell you that you'll never get over it. It feels too hard. And sometimes it feels like it's easier to just lay down and be defeated than it is to get up and fight. So you're a fighter. You're here. You arrived on this earth out of all of the eggs that your mother produced and the sperm that your father produced. You won out of those millions of sperm, and I don't know how many. I think one egg comes out, I think, a month, but whatever. You know what I'm saying is that you won that space here on the earth. You fought your way here. And when you were created in your mother's womb, you were the one that won that fight. So you were already born an overcomer because you were the one that chose to live. I'm going to make it. I'm going to be born. And bam, here you are. So the Lord already made you an overcomer. So if you fall, always get back up. One of the character traits of an overcomer is that they never give up, no matter how many times they fail. There just has to be that muscle of determination that no matter how many times you fail, to be determined to get back up on your feet, even if you have to start all over again. Sometimes you do have to take a back seat and regroup and say, you know what? This didn't happen the way that I thought it would happen. Let me learn from my mistake. So take it as a lesson to learn that when you fail, there's something to learn in it so that you can be stronger and so that you can be wiser to propel forward. So let's just, in summary, just go over this again. So the first key, of course, we already know the foundation, which is prayer, worship, taking communion, even fasting can help. Of course, the Word of God, you can include that. Okay, so maybe the 5 pillars of foundation of this is prayer, worship, taking communion, fasting, and the Word of God. And kind of like a glove that fits on your hand. And 5 is the number of grace. So we need that foundation. But the 3 keys are to acknowledge where you are, to really basically come out of denial, to come out of a place of denial, because a lot of times when you're spinning and you're spinning in that cycle, you're just confused and you're all over the place, and anxiety can settle in because you don't have that rest and that peace with the Lord. So that's the first step. Acknowledge where you are, ask for help. Number 2, get rid of the toxic relationships, the toxic soul ties, and even repent of those soul ties and divorce yourself from those soul ties through prayer. And then number 3, that if you fall, get back up and surround yourselves with those that will encourage you, that will pray for you. And, so these are really important keys for us as overcomers. And so the more that you exercise the muscle of overcoming and determination, and it really starts with that decision. It starts with a decision that you will be able to get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. I've seen so many people go through really hard situations, and the ones that win, the ones that overcome, are the ones that don't give up and the ones that continue to pursue the Lord. You can't overcome if you're always satisfying the dictates of this body and this soul and the unregenerate mind. And so when you're in that place of worship, you're in that place of taking communion with the Lord and spending time with the Lord, it's really important that you're not just, you have to, let me just say this, you have to have a place that you get away with the Lord. It's so vital and so important. I was just sharing recently on a mini mastermind class that I have with my students that, and I share this quite a bit on my Sunday nights, is I have here at my house, I have a walk-in closet that I've made my prayer center with my shoes everywhere, my clothes everywhere. But it's my prayer lab, and it's my sanctuary. And I'll be praying, and I've got this bench that I bought and I put in there, and I've got some blankets and a prayer shawl, and I have some communion elements, and I've got a little battery light because, closets don't come with electricity, at least mine doesn't. And so that's where it's quiet, because closets are enclosed. I don't know, there's a sound barrier, I think, because of the clothes that you have in the closet. It creates a sound barrier. And it's the farthest point on the side of my house, and so it's away from my family because, okay, we are Latinos, guys. We are Spanish, and we're loud. It's where I get my lungs from. It's where I get my projection to sing. We are very loud because we are Spanish. And I'm half Cuban, I'm half Puerto Rican. My mom's father was born in Spain. And so I've got a lot of mixture of different Spanish roots. And so I'm very proud of that. But we're very expressive, we're very loud, and very, for me, I'm very spontaneous, drives my husband crazy sometimes because he's like more of the steady Eddie. And, but he's gotten used to me because we've been married 35 years. So now he knows what to expect. Anyways, so you know what I tell my husband? I tell him, I said, you know what, honey, if you'd have married somebody else, you would have had a boring life, a very boring life. So you have to admit, I keep the spice in the relationship, right? So, because, I love life. I hate being depressed. I went through all of that and it forced me to overcome. I had a choice to stay defeated, stay depressed, or I had a choice to overcome and live in a life of freedom and overcoming. So the things that I'm telling you guys, it's not something that I haven't walked through. Okay. I have a lot of scars from this, and I've gone, through many things. And, some of you have heard some of my testimony, and, and I'll spend time probably in the future to share my testimony. But where I am today wasn't easy to get here, and I'm still going. There's still things I'm learning. Even this past week, there's decisions, really very important decisions that I have to make. But I want to talk about this really quick. I just kind of want to put a little insert of a nugget here. When you're experiencing anxiety, and this is just from my experience, the things that I've experienced, because I have experienced anxiety myself, and I'm very adamant about not taking medications for that. And but the thing is that when I feel that anxiety, usually it's like in a time, if there's high stress, if there's a crisis in my family that's going on, or if there's a very important decision that I have to make. And this week is one of those weeks that I have a very important decision that I have to make. And so it has made me feel a little anxious. And so this is what I've learned to do, is I've learned to work with the anxiety, because I'm in a place where my adrenaline, I think, is higher than normal, because I am in a decision-making mode and I'm weighing things out, and I'm looking for the place where the Lord gives me the most peace so I can follow that path. So basically, when you're considering a lot of paths for a decision in your life, you're going to feel some of that anxiety, especially things that cost a lot of money, or big decisions, or life and death situations, or things that are really that crucial. You're going to experience anxiety. And that doesn't mean that that something's wrong with you. It just means that you're in a place where you're having to make decisions. And what I have found during those times is that when I do spend time in prayer, when I do spend time taking communion, worship, reading the word, and I'm in that secret place with the Lord, it helps to soothe that anxiety. It helps me to basically take that cloak off and to put on the Lord Jesus Christ, and so that I can sleep better at night, even though I'm in the midst of making a very important decision. That's where I find the mind of Christ, and it may take some time for me to work through that. You may not experience an overnight breakthrough in the times that you're making big decisions. You may experience some anxiety for a short period of time. And one of the things that the Lord has always shown me through that is that He always delivers me. And I always know that I'm going to find and do the right thing, and I'm going to find the answer that I need as I'm pursuing the Lord. So I hope that some of these things that I've shared with you tonight have helped you. that have blessed you and has encouraged you. There is one more thing I do want to share with you, because I want you to, make a step of faith. I want you to make a step of faith and a step of action. So one of the things that I want to share with you, I did share in the beginning of the broadcast is, and I'm going to show you a video of a session that we did in our class. And this is from our Mysterian Mentoring class. You can go to mysterianmentoring.com and you can find the information there. But this is our Mysterian Mentoring Kingdom Coaching class that we have. It is on a monthly basis. And so what I want to share with you about this, just make sure that you jot this down. I think it's also where you see underneath your video window, it says mentoring. There's a little tab there that says mentoring. It takes you to the same place. But what I want to show you is just a quick video of a mini mastermind session that we had recently with our class. It was really powerful. And one of the things that I started to do with our online mentoring class is that every month we get together every month, so that students can ask questions or whatever. But what we're doing now is we're doing mini mastermind sessions. And you'll see, it's kind of like I'm going to let you in, be a fly on the wall a little bit, and so that you can see just some highlights of some things that were really powerful. And I think Claudia is on here tonight, and she was part of the class, and also another student of mine, Kimberly. And it was just a really powerful session, because for the both of these ladies, and was able to do some brainstorming with these ladies, and it brought them to a place where they had obstacles in their life, and then by the time we finished, it helped bring them to their goal and out of the obstacle. And so this is some of the things that we're doing in our mastermind class. So I would love for you to be a part of this, that if you are going through something that's preventing you from overcoming, this is the perfect setting to be in. Not only will you learn the mysteries of the kingdom and go deeper in your relationship with the Lord and exploring his heart and the adventures of his heart through the mysteries of the kingdom, but you will also learn how to get past the roadblocks in your life. It could be in any area. It could be personal, it could be business, it could be ministry. And so that's just part of the gifting that I have to be able to help brainstorm with you. So what we had in our last session, these two ladies were basically in the hot seat. And so each month we'll come together. You may or may not be in the hot seat, but when you're together with the other students, you learn from their situation. If one particular student is in a hot seat, then we go through a brainstorming session and mapping out the place where we can take them from their obstacle to their breakthrough. And it's very powerful. It's very, very powerful. And so I just wanted to let you see this just a little bit so that you can have a little bit of an idea of some of the things that we do in the class. And I invite you to come join us. Come join us. Now, one of the things that I will be doing is that I raise my prices every once in a while. So before I do another price raise, I want you to be able to get in and be a part of some of our founding members. And so the price does gradually go up, and we are due for another increase. But if you get in now, you'll be grandfathered into that price. And so we would love to be able to have you, to work with you, and to be able to dive together into the mysteries of God's kingdom, and so that you can learn to live in that overcoming life every single day. Sometimes it takes a little practice, but it is possible no matter what your situation is, because God has an answer for you and he has a solution for you. And we have an edge to this because we can prophetically zoom in to the areas and the obstacles, and we can also prophetically, by the mind of Christ, bring you to a place of breakthrough. And it's real powerful because we all have blind spots. And sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees, and we don't know why we're going through all of those cycles, and we're going through all of that overwhelm or that anxiety or all of that confusion, is because sometimes you need to be with other people. You need to be in a support system where you're with like-minded, like hearts, with other people with like hearts. And so we can work together to get through some of these things. So my goal for you in our mentoring class and our kingdom coaching is to bring you from point A to point B, no matter where you are, and to help you to progress. You may be with us for like a year. We have students that have been with us for more than a year, for a couple of years actually, and they continue to stay with us because they see the value in our times together, in the teaching, in the mini masterminds that we have, so that they can continue to grow. And so let me tell you this, one session of a mastermind is what you pay for on a monthly basis. One session with a mastermind will last you for a year because of the tremendous amount of breakthrough that occurs. So I'm going to take you into this video. It's a quick video, but I just want you to see some of the behind the scenes. It's really powerful, and I want to invite you to come and join us for our Mysterian Mentoring Kingdom Coaching monthly membership, so that you can have breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. So I'm going to take you into this video. Take a look.
I'm thinking, okay, I need to get a balance. I just want to make sure,
Okay, so let me ask you a question. All right, so you want a balance. Okay, and if you get that balance, what is that balance going to do for you?
Well, I think you'll have just full peace.
Okay, so peace. Let's put it down here. Peace, balance. Okay, so when you're talking about peace and balance, are you talking about as far as your mind, as far as your family life? I mean, what is this peace and what is this balance going to do for you?
I think, it's like, and the comparison, I just don't compare, because I'm really around, or I know gifted people, and, and I love that, and I honor that. And it's like, they're very prophetic, and that's really their gifting. And I'm more in the mercies, help, serving, that kind of gifting.
Okay, so there's a couple things that I'm hearing as I'm hearing you talk. So if I can speak into that a little bit. You say that you operate in mercy more than you do the prophetic. Or you have prophetic, but you're more in the service, more than what you see some of these people do in very fiery pinpointed areas. Okay, and sometimes what mercy oriented people, because my husband is very mercy oriented, and I've had plenty of students in my class that are mercy oriented. They struggled with some things because they thought that they had to be like the prophetic fireballs and their gifting, but they didn't see the beauty of their gifting because it was comparison. There's a comparison. And so when you compare yourself, especially as a mercy-oriented person, and you compare yourself to the more fiery prophetic, you start to feel inadequate. You start to feel, a little bit less than inadequate. Was a couple other things that you feel because of that. Let's just have an honesty session here.
Well, it's kind of like, I say, God, okay, I shouldn't be insecure.
It's such a perfect fit, though, because when you're talking and stuff, it's like you have no idea what a perfect fit you are for these people. People that are very fiery prophetic need mercy-oriented people around them. They really do. Mm-hmm. So it's a great, great compliment. It has to do with love. You're loving someone. These are the actions down here. You're loving them. You're listening. You're encouraging. And so you're flowing in all of the things that mercy does. You're still ministering to them prophetically. You're just doing it differently because God designed you different. Your blueprint is different. We know that there's steps that you have to work on to get to the ultimate goal for that season. And you can revisit it and rework your goals. But how are you leaving today? Hopefully, your frustration, you're more encouraged, a little bit more clear,
Thank you.
a little bit more
It's
confident.
supported, actually, because it's like, okay, there's a little support team here. We've gotten to know each other today. Yay.
Yeah, and that's one I think is, part of the beauty of doing some of these masterminds, because it causes closer relationship. It causes more of that trust, so then you can open up when you're really going through some crisis. I guess one of the things that I'm walking away with today is, no matter if you're a business guru or if you're, Mr. Ministry that has, 10,000 people in your church or whatever, it really all boils down to the personal level.
Mm-hmm.
Everything flows out of there. The success of your business, the success of your ministry, the success of your family, the success of anything that you're doing has to, it's in that core. It comes from that core place. And I guess some of the things that I'm seeing is that people, I hear this all the time. So some of the things that you're saying is the focus. People are having a terrible time focusing. No matter what industry they're in. If it's a personal thing, it's business, it's ministry, they're just bombarded. Their focus is just like so crazy off. So the frustration is coming from that because they can't focus. And all of this technology, the digital age just makes it worse. But it doesn't matter if you're in business, if you're in, ministry, or if it's a personal thing, it's all about the core. Mm-hmm. And guess what? We have the secrets of the mysteries of God's heart. So some really powerful things that we get into in our class, and just giving you a little bit of a peek and just some highlights. We didn't want to go too deep into it. And I think one of the beautiful things that, for me personally, as the coach for my students, is discovering the beauty of the people that they are, getting to know them a little bit, and getting to know, like Claudia, and how, when she was sharing that she's just more mercy oriented. And I have had so many of my students that were mercy oriented, and they would get very bombarded with, because they're mercy and they're not as maybe extrovert as some of these other prophetic people are, that they go through this whirlwind in their mind and they feel like that they're not an overcomer. And so some of the reasons why you may feel like you're not overcoming might not have to do with a sin that you're in or something like that. It could be that the gifts that are inside of you, they just haven't been drawn out. You don't realize the beauty of the gift that you are and the gift that you have. So when we have these sessions like that, it just brings out, to me, the diamonds that are in the rough. And that is so exciting for me. And I don't know if Claudia is still on some of the things. I would like to hear a report from that, how you're doing from that. But, it's kind of like drawing out those diamonds that are inside of you. And that's part of overcoming. When we are overcoming, the diamonds are coming out. You find out who you really are. You find out what you're really capable of. And so we've got to brush the dirt off. And sometimes it can be difficult to do it by yourself. And that's why we have the body of Christ. And that's why we're interdependent upon each other to support each other. And so I think from that particular session, we left feeling, knowing each other a little bit more, understanding, and so very encouraged. It was kind of like we were really going into a flow of the mind of Christ. And And so what happens is that the mind of the Lord brings those things out. So in our class, we do this once a month, but then you have the teachings anytime that you want to watch them. So it just helps to strengthen your relationship with God, your relationship as far as, even because it affects all areas of your life. Your business, it affects your ministry, it affects your personal life. And so I just wanted to be able to leave a resource for you so that you have something to go to instead of just leaving you hanging with, well, how do I overcome? I need help with overcoming. So there's a resource for you if you feel like that you need that extra help and you want to take that plunge and dive a little bit deeper into the mysteries of God's heart and walking out and being an overcomer, because some of the things that we teach in our lessons help you to do that very thing, to walk as an overcoming spirit being, because that's what you are. I hope that tonight has helped you in some way and that has ministered to you and it has blessed you. And you see the giving number here on your screen. You can text the word give, GIVE, to the phone number 706-751-6037, or you can simply just click the green button below your video window here on our video page, or you can just go to our website at any time and go to www.give.mysterian.tv. So once again, we do have an extra need this month financially. And so I just wanted to let you know that we do have that. And so we're just believing God to meet that through you guys. We always want to be a blessing. We provide these things for free. And even though we have our streaming platform that has been paid for by our supporters, we still have the day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month expenses that we have to cover. And I just wanted to thank you for that. We are a nonprofit organization. Your giving is tax deductible. And so you do receive your tax receipts at the end of the year. It will be emailed to you for your tax purposes. God bless you guys. Yes, it was very, let me see. Claudia has a comment here. She says, yes, I am on and daily blessed knowing my way. I minister in mercy, in my mercy gift. That is my prophetic way. Yes, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And I love people that are mercy. I'm married to a mercy guy. My husband is so mercy oriented, and I need that because, I can be fire and brimstone sometimes, and I can be, kind of very strong prophetically. I'm really nice too. You guys know that. But my husband, he's just that mercy, and I need that compliment. So anytime that I can surround myself with mercy people, mercy oriented people, I love that. So that was such a great discovery for me, to find that's your gift, Claudia, and such a joy to have you in our class. And Claudia, she's always here on Sunday nights, and she shows up for our live sessions, and she's always involved in the classes. And I'm very, very proud of you, Claudia, for that. Very proud of you. And she puts the teachings into practice, and such a beautiful soul that she is, and would love to have any of you to come and join us. So once again, you can go to mysterianmentoring.com. This is our monthly Mysterian Mentoring and Kingdom Coaching program. And as I mentioned, that I haven't set a date, but I know that our prices will go up. They do go up every once in a while. And those of you that have been with me for a while, this is true because you got in on a lower price and you have seen the prices gradually go up. So, and we just recently added some more value and having our mastermind classes. And that to me is just worth it right there, because it can really bring tremendous breakthrough in a person's life. So I just wanted to thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for giving. I hope that you have been blessed. I hope that you got something out of tonight to help you to overcome and to think about some things to walk in that overcoming place. And remember, prayer, worship, communion is very huge. You know, I say this all the time. We have classes on that on our website. You can go to, in fact, I have that here listed here. You can go to mysterian.tv/communion. And if you want some in-depth teaching on communion, but this class is included in our mentorship program. So all of the classes, if I mention them individually, every single one of them is in our mentoring format. And so you get a greater value by joining us. And what that does, you know, those that join us on a monthly basis, it helps us really, because it's our Mysterian partners that keep us going. It's that core support that we have with them and their financial giving that through the program is that it helps us to pay for everything that we need to pay for, because even though this is free tonight, technology is not free for me. Now you have to know that. And so we want to be able to reach people through some free resources, but we also have our mentoring classes to go a little bit deeper. If you want to go into a little bit deeper relationship with us, we would absolutely love to have you. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Hope you've been blessed, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.